In this video, we'll be exploring the basic concepts of navigating through the shell, a command line interface that allows you to interact with your operating system. Whether you're new to the shell or just looking to refresh your skills, this video will provide you with the fundamental concepts you need to know to navigate your system with ease. From understanding the directory structure to mastering file and folder navigation commands, we'll cover everything you need to know to get started with shell navigation. So sit back, open your terminal bash, and get ready to take your first steps into the world of the shell. Do not forget to support us by subscribing to the channel to receive the rest of the lesson and press the like button. It does not take your time. Understanding the file system tree. Like Windows, a Unix-like operating system such as Linux organizes its files in what is called a hierarchical directory structure. This means they are organized in a tree-like pattern of directories, sometimes called folders in other systems, which may contain files and other directories. The first directory in the file system is called the root directory. The root directory contains files and subdirectories, which contain more files and subdirectories, and so on. Note that unlike Windows, which has a separate file system tree for each storage device, Unix-like systems such as Linux always have a single file system tree, regardless of how many drives or storage devices are attached to the computer. Storage devices are attached, or more correctly, mounted, at various points on the tree according to the whims of the system administrator, the person, or people, responsible for the maintenance of the system. When we first log into our system, or start a terminal emulator session, our current working directory is set to our home directory. Each user account is given its own home directory, and it is the only place a regular user is allowed to write files. The first thing we need to learn, besides how to type, is how to navigate the file system on our Linux system. In this chapter, we will introduce the following commands. pwd, print name of current working directory. cd, change directory. ls, list directory contents. To display the current working directory, we use the pwd, print working directory, command. When we first log into our system, or start a terminal emulator session, our current working directory is set to our home directory. Each user account is given its own home directory, and it is the only place a regular user is allowed to write files. Now open your terminal bash and print these commands. To list the files and directories in the current working directory, we use the ls command. Actually, we can use the ls command to list the contents of any directory, not just the current working directory, and there are many other fun things it can do as well. We'll spend more time with ls in the next chapter. To change our working directory, where we are standing in our tree-shaped maze, we use the cd command. To do this, type cd followed by the path name of the desired working directory. A path name is the route we take along the branches of the tree to get to the directory we want. We can specify path names in one of two different ways, as absolute path names or as relative path names. Let's deal with absolute path names first. An absolute path name, as picture 1, begins with the root directory and follows the tree branch by branch until the path to the desired directory or file is completed. For example, there is a directory on our system in which most of our system's programs are installed. The directory's path name is /user/bin. This means from the root directory, represented by the leading slash in the path name, there is a directory called a USR, which contains a directory called a bin. Relative path name starts from the working directory. To do this, it uses a couple of special like picture 2 notations to represent relative positions in the file system tree. These special notations are dot and dot dot. The id notation refers to the working directory, and the dot notation refers to the working directory's parent directory. File names that begin with a period character are hidden. This only means that ls will not list them unless you say ls-a when your account was created. Several hidden files were placed in your home directory to configure things for your account. In Chapter 11 we will take a closer look at some of these files to see how you can customize your environment. In addition, some applications place their configuration and settings files in your home directory as hidden files. File names and commands in Linux, like Unix, are case sensitive. The file names file1 and file1 refer to different files. Linux has no concept of a file extension, like some other operating systems. You may name files any way you like. The contents and/or purpose of a file is determined by other means. Although Unix-like operating systems don't use file extensions to determine the contents/purpose of files, many application programs do. Though Linux supports long file names that may contain embedded spaces and punctuation characters. Limit the punctuation characters in the names of files you create to period, dash, and underscore. Most importantly, do not embed spaces in file names. If you want to represent spaces between words in a file name, use underscore characters. You will thank yourself later. We continue in the next video so as not to prolong you. Do not forget to support us by subscribing and pressing the like button.